Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. I'm happy to update the public, the media friends that House Bill number 8220, or the setting of the BARM elections on the second Monday of September 2026, has already been approved on second reading. I'm also to announce and to update the public that the anti-political dynasty bill has already been approved, its substitute bill, by the committee a couple of days ago, and this will be due for plenary debates next week. So, having said that, I am happy to answer all your questions.
Sir, dun sa impeachment complaint against the Vice President, sufficient in substance, sa tingin po ba ninyo makakakuha ito ng suporta para from the lakas specifically, napag-usapan po ba ito sa inyong party kung susuportahan for probable cause and sa plenary?
Well, una, when your question about whether it was discussed officially by the Lakas members, no, hindi pa po tayo nag-uusap with the Lakas leadership as to how do we go about with the impeachment complaint. But you've seen naman during the voting on the sufficiency of substance the other day, I guess, no, the other day, that 54 out of the 55 members present voted in favor of the measure, of the motion, which is declaring that the third and the fourth impeachment complaint against the Vice President is sufficient in substance. Yeah, so judging from the votes that we've seen in the committee, it may relate to the actual appreciation and the possible outcome once the committee report reaches the plenary stage.
Sir, kasi yung si Ramil Madiaga, isa po siya doon sa mga sinasabing smoking gun. Pero meron po kasing reports na may threats po doon sa kanya sa kulungan, and even yung lawyer po niya, si Attorney Palad, was saying na may lumapit na raw po sa kanya na nagbibigay ng bribe 500 to 1 billion pesos, not to recant but not to testify. Wag daw po siyang tumestigo. Gaano ba ka-crucial tong yung mga ganitong developments?
Well, una, I think we really have to appeal to our security agencies, especially the one that is handling in custody the personality of Madriaga, to make sure na safe naman siya, no? Na nothing would ever happen to him, especially now that the impeachment complaint against the Vice President is proceeding, no? So very critical kasi din yung ano niya, yung testimony niya, yung affidavit na ginawa niya doon sa, kung di ako nagkakamali, sa third and fourth impeachment complaint. So I, it is incumbent upon our security agencies to make sure that Madriaga will not be will be safe, no, at mapakinggan yung kanya in the plenary, in the committee, yung kanyang testimonya.
Pero does this raise concern, lalo na yung mga ganitong reports na may mga threats?
Of course,
and
yeah.
bribe?
But the allegations are very serious. So we just have to make sure that we have to make sure that Madriaga will be available, no, once we reach the stage that the committee will be needing his presence in order to corroborate his testimony in his affidavit that he has made against the Vice President, because portion of articles of impeachment under, kung di ako nagkakamali, under complaint number 3 and number 4 are the affidavits, no, of Madriaga.
But what does this show, sir? What does this mean na parang with all these threats, lalo na looming yung hearing proper na sa committee, gaano siya, kumbaga, kalaki yung basis na may basehan talaga yung nasa affidavit na?
Well, it only speaks how serious the allegation of Madriaga. Kung tama po yung kung kung susumahin po natin, kung tama naman kung if assuming that what he is saying now is true, halimbawa, no, na merong lumalapit sa kanya, it only proves to say that those who are actually approaching him are fearful of what may happen, or what the possible exposure, what the information that may be revealed once Madriaga will testify in the committee.
Nasakto pa po nag-file ng perjury complaint si VP Sara.
Well, and all legal remedies are available naman to her. So I myself would expect that she would definitely do anything, at her disposal, all the possible legal remedies in order also to come up with her defense.
Kung ano po ang plano yung Kongreso, especially yung Kamara na imbestigahan po yung affidavit po ng 18 Marines about yung sinasabing mali-malitang pera.
Well, I don't know kung ano yung magiging approach ng House of Representatives dyan. Wala pa naman pong nagfa-file sa amin dito na any resolution that would lead to the possible investigation. So I do not know kung ano yung magiging resulta niyan. But as far as I know, the affidavit in itself is in question. Kasi may mga witnesses mismo may nagsasabi na hindi nila alam kung ano na pirmahan nila. Yung iba naman, they're trying to distance from the affidavit. So the affidavit in itself is question, diba? And those who have signed the affidavits have also have issues, no? Doon sa pinanggalingan nila. In fact, ang Marines, 4 of them are dishonorably discharged. So, hindi ang mismo din ng ombudsman nagsalita na rin, pati na rin ng Senado, nagsabi na rin na this could be a ploy to probably divert the attention from the public, no? Kung ano yung talaga yung pag-uusapan. Kasi sabi nga ni Senator Lacson, medyo imposible na more than 2/3 of the budget of the entire Philippines goes to a certain number of politicians. Tama nga naman din yung sinabi na aking kasamahan, kung gano'n naman, hindi bankrupt na ang Pilipinas. So mathematically is impossibility to have all those amounts distributed to all the named politicians, public servants na hindi makakaapekto greatly sa ating ekonomiya. So I don't know kung anong, wala pa naman nagfa-file ng resolution for that matter.
Pero pwede po yung motu proprio investigation.
I don't know because I'm not the committee chairman of any committee that might be handling these cases.
Sir, kung masasabi niyo lang po dun sa kung kalat na video ni Kong Mika, sinasabi pong video daw po niya na
Alam mo, alam ko hindi kami nag-usap ni Kong Mika Gonzales. Pero alam ko lumabas na rin ng official statement, no, ang kanyang opisina categorically denying that she was the one actually who is videotaping herself saying all those things. Kasi kung ako tatanungin mo, ba't mo naman gagawin yun? That's self-incriminatory. Diba? I mean, it's obvious common sense would dictate that nobody in his or her right mind would do such a thing, would say such a thing that would incriminate greatly herself or himself. So alam naman natin ang AI technology, may mga deepfakes na lumalabas na ngayon, no? So ang sa akin lang ganun ata yung mangyayari in the coming days. Yung mga perceived to be, lalo na halimbawa yung mga miyembro ng House of Representatives na perceived to be their enemies, talagang greatly targeted yan ng mga trolls yung gumagawa ng ganyang mga fake na mga accounts para targetin yung personality ng isang tao. So very obvious naman na kagagawan ito ng mga kung sino man yung na tinatarget, yung selected members of this House of Representatives who are in support of this administration.
So you've mentioned po that the plenary debates for the anti-political dynasty bill will commence next week. But as early as now, parang there were a lot of critics na saying na it does not address, for example, the overlapping of positions across levels of government. Wala rin daw pong prohibitions on succession and sa party list systems. So sir, siguro, do you see any compromise sa plenary kung ano pa yung possible compromises na pwede nating ma-achieve given these critics from different groups?
You know, all of us, when you talk about anti-political dynasty, it goes directly to the very foundation of our democracy, which is the right of every citizen to vote, to elect their voters. So all of us are stakeholders. All of us are invested. So naturally, there will be people. There were sections from our society that would come out against whatever is the result from the committee deliberation that we had. No? Expected ko na yan. There will be critics and there will be supporters as well. Now, ang pangalawa, the concentration of our job as in the committee to provide a working technical/legal definition to anti-political dynasty is to decongest a one particular locality from the control of one political family. Meaning, you have to you really have to make sure that the control of resources, over resources, government resources, will not only be exercised by one particular family. That's one. Kailangan mong tanggalin kung yung concentration of power. That is to us the definition of a political dynasty. So as to whether or not this would address directly the concerns of the people, we have not seen, as of yet, there is no current policy, legal framework that addresses that issue, the concentration of power. So if you ask me, this is a step forward. In fact, this is a trailblazer policy because we don't have exactly an existing anti-political dynasty. This is the first time after 40 years. So it's a positive step, no? But again, may mga kasamahan tayo sa committee na mga members na willing sila to reach a more agreeable and agreeable version. Many of them, in fact. No? Some of my colleagues here in the House of Representatives are not in favor of the anti-political dynasty, but they are willing to listen. No? That's why I ask everyone, the authors, and those who have also withdrawn their authorship to keep an open mind because we still have more to go before the actual approval of the anti-political dynasty. I'm talking about the actual plenary debates. As you have seen, starting the time that we opened the discussion in the committee, we have invited several personalities, constitutional experts, legal luminaries, legal, election lawyers, deans of the schools, law schools, at mga organization na mga electoral reform advocates. And we even brought this to the public. So we want to make sure that all issues and all concerns will be heard and will also be given value as to how we really appreciate the intent of this current Congress to supply legal definition and to operationalize, no? Finally, Section 26, Article 2 of the 1987 Constitution. Yung third question, kasi kung yung question mo, medyo compounded eh. Bakit hindi na isali yung party list reform? Because that would be the next agenda. Separate yung anti-political dynasty because essentially ang anti-political dynasty is just to operationalize Section 26, Article 2 of the 1987 Constitution. Bibigyan mo lang siya ng definasyon. Okay? Yung sa Party List Reform Act naman is part din dyan ng LEDAC priority. And so that would be a different set of discussions altogether because we will be, again, scheduling the committee hearing for the Party List Reform Act that has already been referred to my committee. Alam, kung di ako nagkakamali, meron ng quite number of versions.
Sir, last question na po, kasi may mga nagsasabi rin, ano daw po nangyari din sa mga public consultations because yung sa public consultations, a lot of people are actually pushing for the fourth degree of affinity and consanguinity. So, how do you respond to those comments lang, sir?
Well, una, there are also...
I'm so sorry. Natama. Tumama, sir.
There are also participants who are also pushing for the second degree of consanguinity, no, and affinity. There are also participants, especially in Carmona, Cavite, who do not want the anti-political dynasty. In Cebu, there are majority of the participants want an anti-political dynasty, but they resolve their arguments on the issue of education, giving priority to education. In fact, hindi na pag-usapan kung di ako nagkakamali kung anong degree. Only in Cagayan de Oro that there were unspecific requests for the fourth degree of civil relationship that should be adopted by the House of Representatives. Those are things that we need to balance with the current versions that we have. Ultimately, it's going to be the members of the House of Representatives who will vote for the final version of the House. So meaning, the number of authorships and the number of Congress who back a certain version would be the easiest version for the committee for the committee to present, and for it's easier for the committee to get support from the members. So ganun lang yun. In fact, ang version ni House Speaker Boji D ay fourth degree. Pero ang dami kasing second degree. More than 50%, almost 60% of the versions are proposing a second degree of civil relationship prohibition. In fact, we have two existing laws right now in the country that also prohibits second degree from holding actual office. Remember, we are not talking of the actual running. The second degree is the actual occupancy of members, public servants. Ibig sabihin, yung actual na nagsiservisyo. Hindi ka dapat pare-pare kakasabay kayo, mayor at saka vice mayor. We have the SK law, which is second degree of consanguinity and affinity, and the BARM Electoral Code, which also speaks about the same civil degree of consanguinity and affinity. So we have basis, we have support, we have the majority proposals, and that is why the committee decided, and even the Senate's version is second degree of civil consanguinity. COMELEC came out with the position, it would be difficult for them to assess fourth degree of consanguinity and affinity because you don't only speak about your first degree cousin, you also speak about the husband and the wife of your first degree cousin. Mahirap yon para sa COMELEC. Magkakaroon tayo ng oras kung paano i-verify, i-validate kung talaga magkakamag-anak ito before COMELEC can actually accept the CONA, yung certificate of... we will spend more time assessing the relationship of all possible candidates. Wala na preparatory pa yan sa COMELEC, hindi na tayo magkakaroon, sabi ng COMELEC, ng oras, magkaroon ng actual printing ng mga ballots because you cannot print the ballots without actual candidates, kung ano yung in-accept mo. So, magkakaroon ng impact yan greatly on the preparation of COMELEC, which to them is very, very problematic. Kaya sabi nila, easier for them also the second degree of consanguinity and affinity. So what we are actually doing now is not to win over arguments because definitely there will be people who are not into accepting the versions that we have already approved in the committee. What we're trying to do here is to provide with finality, after 40 years, a legal definition of political dynasty. This is not a race between winning an argument over the other. This is a race against time, what the Constitution says, and what we ought to do and provide after 40 years in existence.
Kung yung sa BARM elections po, bakit September at hindi May?
Dahil po ang dapat po magka-hold na po tayo ng elections. Dapat nga po ang election is March of 2025. But the Supreme Court came out with the ruling declaring the BTA redistricting bill unconstitutional. So that's why na-postpone po yung election supposedly no March of 2025 and then we extended to October 13, 2025 nag-declare na rin ng Supreme Court. So that's why I think part of the reason why we need to hold it in September, it's because we cannot wait until March of next year. March of this year because the COMELEC could not simply prepare for the election for March because hindi naka-approve ang Bangsamoro Parliament ng redistricting law. Kasi yun ang magiging basis ng House of Representatives to file for the resetting of the election. Supposedly, if we follow the timeline set by the Supreme Court attached in their ruling na dapat March 31, diba? Ang sabi ng Supreme Court. Ang prayer ng Supreme Court is not later than March 31, 2026 dapat magka-election. But the problem is, if we follow that timeline, dapat natapos na rin ng BTA Parliament yung redistricting nila nung November. Pero they did not actually approve the redistricting on November. So they have approved it on a much later date. So naapektuhan yung timeline. So ngayon, tapos na yung redistricting nila, that would also become our basis to file the resetting of election. That's why we want to hold it this year, September. So that's the most convenient and the most timely because we do not want to synchronize this also with the barangay election. We want to have at least a month for the COMELEC to prepare for another election. So this year is a super election. We have the Bang region, we have the Bang regional parliamentary election, and we also have the nationwide barangay and SK elections. All right?
Gusto mo mag-comment?
Yes.
Comment ko dun sinabi ni Congressman Marcoleta.
Na alin ang sinabi niya?
Tumakbo raw si Congressman Erice na sinabi.
Well, si Congressman Marcoleta naman is known to be a supporter of the Vice President and the Dutertes. And so maybe perhaps he can identify with the statements of Congressman Erice. Kaya niya sinasabi yon na it resonates, the statements of Congressman Erice resonates with the support base of the Dutertes. Baka yun ang pinanggagalingan niya, no? But it would be problematic, I guess, for Congressman Erice because he is a member of Liberal Party, and we know the Liberal Party is a strong critic of the Dutertes. So I don't know. Lumabas ata naman din ang statement niya that he would not be supporting any presidential candidates. I don't know. That's his opinion because para sa palagay ko, baka na-identify niya at nagre-resonate yung mga statements ni Congressman Erice doon sa support base ng mga Duterte.
Sir, you would like to comment dun sa privilege speech ni Erice na nabanggit pa si Presidential Son Majority Sandro Marcos. Kasi nung pinalitan siya as Senior Deputy Minority Leader.
Well, lumabas naman din ng statement ni Minority Leader. Sinasabi niya na hindi yun ang rason. Ang rason daw is about work. I don't know. Within the minority lang yan. Dapat they can sort it out with the minority. But as far as the majority leader is concerned, I don't think he would do that because number one, there are also members of the minority who are every day ginagawa ng Diyos. They criticize and they speak openly against the president, pero hindi naman sila natatanggalan ng posisyon. Pangalawa, there are also members of the opposition who even went beyond not just criticizing the government, but actually filed an impeachment complaint against the president. No? Pero hindi rin sila natatanggalan ng posisyon. Andyan pa rin sila. So, if we look at it from as an observer, mukhang ang sinasabi ni Minority Leader na hindi ito connected with any of his position that he has taken, but this is more so about their issue in the minority, how to go about with their role and with their job as member of the minority.
Tsaka mo lang, pag nagsimula ang impeachment complaint, dadami ba yung mga deepfakes saka mga fake news?
Ano po?
Pag nagsimula na ba yung formal na pagdinig ng impeachment complaint, dadami na ba
Ay,
yung mga
oo,
fake news?
ako in-expect ko na yan. In fact, ako ang binibiro ko na lang din yung mga kasamahan ko. Sabi ko, sige na lang, at least nakakatulong din tayo dun sa mga walang trabaho. Kasi nabibigyan sila ng pera para maging trolls.
So, in-expect niyo po kung baka pati kayo may
Nako,
ganun
oo.
din.
In-expect ko na yan kasi ganun talaga kalakaran ngayon. Pero ang atin lang, tayo din sa publiko, kailangan maging discerning tayo. Maging mas masusi ang ating, pag-appreciate sa ating mga nakikita online. Kasi karamihan po dyan ay hindi tama at hindi totoo.
Sir, based sa discussions doon sa impeachment so far, sa tingin niyo po ba kayang makuha yung 106 votes sa plenary?
Let's see. But again, I was surprised in the committee level kasi 54 yung boto. No? I was really surprised. So let's see. Pero it's a good indication. It's a good and it's a positive indication that the required number might possibly within the reach. No?
How many po ba kayo sa lakas, sir?
I think mga nasa 80 plus na kami. 80 plus pa. I'm not sure about the number. Kasi mayroon na ring lumipat sa ibang partido. So hindi ko lang alam kung ilan po ang natira ngayon sa amin. Yeah. Let's see kung ano yung magiging That would depend on how the committee on justice present their committee report as to the third and the fourth impeachment complaint.